Nice to see you again, Ralph.
Good to have you here, yes.
Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'd like to having a little review of how the situation started. From your point of view, what was the beginning? How did we start the project? What happened before?
Well, I'm just thinking it's about now 7 months almost since you joined us here at Culligan and helped us out, which is unbelievable. Time is running. How did it start? When I took over my role, I realized that we have needs in different areas, but one particular need was in training and coaching and leadership skills. The first person who came to mind who could help me was you, because I mean we worked a lot together in previous years. We know each other a long time, and when we had the first call, when was it, September last year, luckily for Culligan and me, you had availability. And I appreciate that point that you came over straight away to see how you can help. The challenges we had back then was the Culligan acquired a lot of smaller businesses and merged them all together. And these company integrations into the operation, they ended up in challenging issues, and we had data issues, customer issues, system migrations. There was a lot of what comes along with company migrations usually. I realized that we are not dealing with the customer in the best way. It came back to a lack of training. So we needed not just system and process training, the usual stuff. It was more about interacting with the customer on a personal base for our advisors, and this was why I brought you in, because I know this is something you can provide. And I think when you came in, the first thing we did was we looked at the existing training materials, and you helped us to redesign them. You helped us to update and modernize them. So I think there was a lot of parts missing in that training, like role plays, which you added to it. And then we started straight away. We changed the training materials, and then we went through the entire population of Culligan customer advisors and trained them in behavior to dealing with customers. That was the start of it, and I think it was quite successful. I had the best feedback from our leadership team and from the participants of the training courses. And we could see also from customer feedback there is a change in how we deal with these customer interactions. Well, how long did that took us? We had about 100 advisors, a couple of months to go through that, and then we took it to the next level, right?
Yeah, we did. Thank you. When we did the service training, we did quite a lot of work on mindset, behavior, so to speak, that it comes from within. Yeah. So remember, so that people are not just imitating sentences that we would sort of give them, but rather develop things on their own. How did you notice the behavior afterwards?
First of all, we did provide a lot of training to the staff in the previous, 12, 24 months before that. But what was done was very sort of one-directional. So there's, this is how to do it, and then the advisor had to pick it up and deliver. And I think the approach you brought into the game was more, as you said, changing the behavior of the people, getting into the customer's mind, interacting with the customer, probing the customer in whatever it is. For example, retention. We focused a lot on retention and not just accepting customer attrition, really going into something, why you're leaving us, and also then go into retaining customers and preventing customers from leaving. And this is the way where you need the interaction from the individual, and I think we triggered that in the training. This is what you particular delivered to us.
I can also see that they're working closely together now, right? They're collaborating.
Yeah, that was absolutely.
The energy in the room has changed somehow.
No, absolutely. Yes, but what you usually expect, but there was to some extent like a silo thinking, between departments in the organization. You're absolutely right. With the training, we brought the customer in the center what we are doing. So, look beyond your desk basically and see where you can help a customer. And it changed the mood on the floor. There's much more activity, much more interaction, much more conversations. Absolutely.
Yeah. There was also an element of process-driven training or process-related training that is going on internally now from this work. What's happening in the company right now after this has been triggered? I can see that there's shadowing within the teams. There's a new manager for processes and for process training. So a lot of things have happened at this. How do you see that, like subject matter learning within the teams in this context?
I think where you helped us, you personally a lot, because when you delivered the trainings and actually later on you also helped us to develop the leadership team. You did coachings with individuals and team leaders. But I think one of the main benefits you provided for me was that you came back with feedback. You came back to me and said, you need something where advisors can store their memos because they're putting everything on post-its, or you pointed out that we don't have proper sort of process descriptions there. Not everybody's doing everything differently, but there is a level of inconsistency, and that was valuable feedback for us to pick that up. And that's why we focus much more on quality and also on leadership. And I think that's where you put your finger on and straight away offered your help, and we took that and we went through, and you coached all levels in the contact center, so team leaders, managers, even up to heads of different positions. And in terms of coaching, you really press the right buttons on each individual where they can improve even better to lead the teams, if that's communication or interacting with people. That was quite beneficial, actually.
Thank you. Talking about the leaders, there's also been some sort of behavioral element in being proactive rather than waiting for the superior to tell me what I need to do, right? That's what we tackled in most of the coaching. When it comes to setting priorities, it's important to what is important, right? And to also have your own idea rather than just to wait for your superior to tell you what's important. Yes. How do you see the development among leaders?
We brought new leaders in and we coach leaders, but it also comes through coaching and training to change that behavior in interacting with each other, but mostly driving more customer centricity, working with the customer, not just thinking this is my part of work here and this is the next step in the process. Really thinking through and said, okay, how can I help the customer? At the end of the day, we always say, use every contact to make the customer happy, to make the customer an advocate of Culligan. And in that context, actually, I think you helped a lot to drive that behavior into the floor with advisors, but as well with the leadership team.
You brought a strong element of the numbers to the company. I could really tell from the coachings. So how do you see the development when we put two and two together, so to speak? So on the one hand, there's the numbers that you've introduced, much more leading by the numbers, and then on the other side, during the coachings, we also reflected on those numbers and what kind of measures to take from the numbers. So not just to describe it, but rather where do I need to take action? How do you see this developing?
I mean, it's not easy. When I started here, it was not really, you're absolutely right, not really a data-driven organization. So we've been thin on KPIs and targets. Particular, the team really didn't have proper targets. So that was something we had to implement and integrate fairly quickly and brutally, actually, because you have to use the data and targets in the contact center. The change of people to understand that it makes sense is, again, for me, it comes to leadership, but also through trainings and coaching when you went through in training, and you showed them, look, these are the process steps, what to do and how we deal with the customer, but also linked it to the service levels and KPIs, how important it is to, answer the phone in a simple way or respond quickly or don't build backlogs. It's sort of linked together in a way. Particularly, I think it's more coming through the coachings and the leadership training.
How do you see the work of the leaders now, as opposed to a couple of months earlier? What have you seen developed among team leaders, among managers? What kind of behavior?
I mean, as I said, I think in the beginning we were driving a lot of change in that business, which is positive, and we did. Don't get me wrong, we did a fantastic job before I started, but now we trying to be even better. There are leaders, they adapt this, and others they don't. Simple as that. And change is hard for everyone. And some deal easier with it, and others not so easy. And there where we need help, I think again make people step to the next level to understand.
Glad to hear it. That's great. What would you recommend other companies being in a similar situation, a situation of change? For example, a couple of companies merging, new culture, new processes, new technologies. What do we take away from this project that you would recommend other companies to do in the same situation?
Do it fast, do it bold.
Okay.
That's what you have to do. You need to make bold decisions and change things fast. I think particular, not just the customers, also the staff, the people in the organization, they see change coming. They want that. Everybody wants that. I would recommend not holding back. Just do it fast. Rather make mistakes, drive change, and make bold decisions.
Okay. What would you describe in a nutshell is the value that's taken from the project into the future, into the close future and the longer term future?
That's a good question. Creating the openness for change and the sort of whatever we do it to make customers happy, understand the customer better, not just process, think about why we are doing this, what are we doing, and does it provide a customer benefit at the end of the day. I think that's sort of a mindset change in people, behavior change. That's probably the biggest benefit.
What's your perception on how can we break down barriers and showing up as silo thinking, to think a bit wholly, so to speak?
At Culligan here, we achieved it. I mean, first of all, through leadership. It needs to come top down to kill every sort of behavior where people think, oh, this is not my responsibility. This is a different team. I even picked that up if somebody went back to the customer and said, oh, I can't really help you. This is something another department is dealing with. Yeah. And that is the wrong answer to the customer. So this is definitely not what you want to hear as a customer, and make the leaders and also advisors understand, if you are a customer, would you accept or appreciate such a response? No, you wouldn't. You want help. Exactly. You want help. And if you say, look, I'll take care of that and I make sure somebody's coming back to you and then help you, that would be the answer. So it's a lot of leadership when it comes to silos. And also it's really getting in everything what we are doing, describing what's the benefit for the customer. Yeah. I fully agree. Absolutely. This is the main thing. It's the same customer who's been dealt with by different departments, but it's making people understand. So whatever you do here needs to be beneficial for the customer, and that we all link together. Exactly. Leadership and changing of behavior again. Okay. Right. It sounds simple. It is simple, but it's hard work.
It's hard work, I know. There's been a lot of activity, and there still is in all areas, also on the management level, to take things even further than it's now. Is there anything that you would like to add? Any development that you would like to tell Culligan customers? Any kind of message or idea?
No, I think what we did and what we are doing is the right thing, and we're going the right way. But as always, it takes time.
Yeah.
I said before, do it fast, do it bold, but implementing change and driving change, you see some effects straight away, which is nice to see, and customers see this as well, So for an example, in the past, the customer had to wait about, weeks before he answered back to the customer on average. Now we are answering within 24 hours, and that's something the customer sees. So the next thing, what needs to understand, get the quality up.
Yeah.
That's the next big thing. So, whatever we deal with a customer, make sure the invoices are right and the queries are managed in the right way. So it's the next level, and it takes time.
Okay. What would you recommend others to do?
Well, as I said, we work together, I don't know how many years now. It's a long time.
Quite a long time.
What I appreciate in your work is the flexibility and how quickly you can adapt to a client's circumstances and situation. How quickly when we had the first conversation, I described this is where we are, this is what we need. I think. Even over the phone, we had very quickly common understanding, and you came back with recommendations. Why am I not doing this and this and this? And so you, because of your experience, you're not just a trainer or coach. You do know customer operations in and out, and I think that is a huge benefit, that you can go straight under the skin basically. And the flexibility. We changed course over time, didn't we?
We did several times.
Several times. And if you're in a transition where we are in a transformation and do so much change, you have to do that. And again, you understood it straight away why we're doing this. You're very flexible and adaptable to the change, and jumped on the speedboat basically with us. So and also what I appreciate most is that your feedback of the operations when we got weekly, or when we sit together and you came back to me, you gave me an honest feedback where you see room for improvement, where things are not going well, where we have gaps, what you would suggest. You even make system recommendations and how to improve systems or what we need. And this is something which is beyond your task in a way, and I always appreciate that, because almost like a sparring partner in the business. So you not just delivered the trainings and the coachings, you helped us to direct us in areas where we need to improve even more, and this is something which I always appreciated in our work when we work together. It's hopefully not the last time.
Well, I hope so too. And I also want to say a big thank you, because that cooperation as always, fantastic. I can also feel the trust, and it always brings a lot of advantages to a cooperation if it's a close collaboration, and that's really fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and looking forward to the next project, the next challenge. Exactly.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralf.